Hey, welcome to UFO Buster Radio. This is Manny Moonraker, and I am here starting year 2 of UFO Buster Radio. And my co-host is not Big O. Unfortunately, Big O could not be here today, but we do have someone else filling in his shoes, taking his place, putting in that other perspective to the UFO phenomena, and that would be the Puerto Rican Panda.
That is me, the Puerto Rican Panda.
So, Puerto Rican Panda, being that you are the one that's stepping in to take over Big O's place, before we get started, why don't you tell folks about your perspective regarding the UFO phenomena?
I'm currently on the fence with it. I believe I'm about 50-50. I want to believe, but then I'm like, I see so many that's fake, so 50-50. I'm not sure yet. But the stuff we're going to talk about today got me very intrigued.
So what you're referring to is the UFO story out of Chile.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I actually believe. It's interesting.
So now, before we jump into that, we want to go ahead and wish everyone that listens to the show a Happy New Year.
Yes, indeed.
All you guys know who you are. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us the last year. This is going to be a great year. Not sure when Big O is going to be back, but if he comes back, I'm sure he's going to wish you the same thing. But in the meantime, the first story that we're going to tackle is going to be out of Exmouth, England. It's on a Puerto Rican Panda. I did send this to you. I'm not sure you had a time to review it, but it is another fascinating UFO story.
Oh, yeah? Out of England. And we ain't talking about the underworld stuff. This is some real UFO stuff.
Real stuff out of England, which was reported on December 28th by Mark Emmons.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Emmons, along with his neighbor, Tyrone Osborne, saw an object in the sky which looked to have been a comet. Now, this was around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. What they noticed about 3 hours later is that this particular object started to move.
I was looking at that. They noticed, they thought it was stars that was moving along with it?
Yeah, according to the reports, Mark said that this particular object moved along with 6 other nearby white dots, which were moving along with it. Yeah. So we actually got the picture directly from one of our favorite listeners, Mr. O, Paul Oxenham, also out of England and a musician. And Paul introduced Mark to our show, and we've been corresponding with Mark ever since.
Okay.
So the picture is very interesting, and what we can say is, in reviewing some of the comments that we some of the comments that we read online to the picture, a lot of people are saying this is just a regular airplane, and these are just contrails.
Yeah, but a regular airplane. Interesting.
Yeah, so if you saw the picture, the front of it really didn't look like an airplane.
No, I sure don't.
And the contrail, apparently, according to the story, as soon as the craft disappeared, so did the trails.
Wow, that's interesting.
So the other thing that we want to kind of mention regarding this story is that there are similarities from this story to the Chilean Navy story. One other item that was brought to my attention by Mark Emmons is the fact that a lot of the publications have actually altered the picture and made it look like it was traveling in a horizontal trajectory. According to Mark, this particular aircraft or object was flying vertically.
Up, down.
Right. So, in essence, it wasn't coming down. It wasn't like a meteor or a comet coming down towards Earth. It was actually leaving.
Oh, so they got all the information they needed.
Exactly. So now, Puerto Rican Panda, the interesting thing about this particular object is when people say, oh, it was a comet, it was an airplane, it was a UFO, it was something natural. The problem with the picture is when you see something like a comet or you see something like an asteroid or something coming down, you see that kind of like an aura around it towards the front. Comes to the front, goes out to the back. You don't see that. Everything here is directly from the back.
Yeah, I do see that off the picture.
What I did ask Mark when I was in contact with him was, is there a European space agency, spaceport, or a place where they land or shoot rockets up in his area or anywhere in the United Kingdom?
Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask the Democrats, they would say, yep, they sure do have one.
According to Mark, he really didn't know. He had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
However, thanks to the magic of Google, I found something very fascinating about the whole situation when it comes to the European Space Agency. They don't even have a launch pad or a spaceport in all of Europe.
For real?
Yeah. So their spaceport is down in French Guiana, and that's the north part of South America.
Interesting.
So,
very interesting.
It's fascinating. It's crazy that the European Space Agency is shooting all this stuff off out of South America, and it's fascinating that that kind of leaves an open question as to what this unidentified flying object really was. In the United States, of course, we're surrounded by Air Force bases,
yes,
airports. Heck, I think in Texas alone, I think there's like 2 different spaceports. And you have NASA down in South Texas.
Down in Houston.
Down in Houston.
Absolutely.
But there was nothing in the area that could create or that we can say definitively was the cause of what Mark Emmons saw on December 28th. So as the article says, Mark Emmons is a musician, and he was so inspired by his sighting that he actually wrote a song and recorded it.
Do we have that song?
Yeah, so the song, we are going to play it at the end of the broadcast. So as our closing outro, we will have Mark Emmons' song, which pretty much describes how he felt or was impacted by seeing this particular UFO. And I tell you, it's a great song. You guys are going to love it.
You shall see.
So we're going to include in the description the link to Mark's SoundCloud account, so you can hear some of his other recordings, but also this particular recording, which is, like I said, it was great. And we'll put in the outro, the link in the description. Shout out Puerto Rican Panda for you and the rest of your friends out there listening right now, because this is your debut. I want to let everybody know that you can reach us through UFOBusterRadio.com, Twitter, Instagram, and also my page on Facebook, Manny Moonraker. And next week, we'll have a live show. Hopefully, Big O will be here, though I'm not sure. Haven't really been in contact with him, and we'll see.
He's on strike.
He might be on strike.
Can I say that?
Yeah, or you can say that. It's okay. You can say that.
Nah, he's on strike.
So the next article, of course, is going to be one of these articles that has taken the internet by storm, and that is the UFO video released by the Chilean Navy.
Yes, I heard about that, and I read about that.
It is an amazing story only because it's coming from another government.
Yes, and they actually got video footage.
Right, so the video footage is coming from the Navy. They were flying a helicopter on a standard mission, testing some equipment from what I understand.
Yes, they were testing out their FLIR camera. Yes, West Cam, also known as.
So this camera has the ability to also capture infrared.
Yes, yes.
As a matter of fact, that's what its name stands for, the forward-looking infrared camera.
I believe that's the only way they detected this UFO, was through the infrared.
Now that is one of the strangest and weirdest facts about this whole situation. Folks, we're going to have the link inside, of course, the description like the other article. But what the Puerto Rican Panda just said is a pivotal statement, because to the naked eye and using normal video, you could not see the object with the video, could you?
You couldn't. You couldn't, because when they used a regular day camera, you couldn't see it until they went back to the infrared, according to the video.
And according to the video, what you see is the infrared is picking up the images before the camera. And those things in black are the hottest images before the camera lens. And what we see is a object. And sometime during that video, the object actually shoots out what they say is hot liquid or gas.
It could have been passing gas. That's all.
So it was passing gas, but again, not really visible to the naked eye. So my question is, how did they see it to begin with?
Oh, through the infrared.
So apparently, this thing was about 35 to 40 miles away from the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And the sighting itself happened back in November of 2014.
At around 1 p.m. during broad daylight.
Broad daylight, very similar to Mark Emmons' sighting, which also happened around that time in broad daylight.
Yes, yes.
These guys aren't playing anymore. They really don't care what time it is.
No, they sure don't care. This story is more believable. You know why?
Why is that?
'Cause they down in Chile. If I was an alien and I want to come to a country, you think I want to go up north where it's cold in November? I want to go to Chile. It's nice and warm. That's a beautiful spot to hang out.
It's a beautiful spot. It's nice and warm. But guess what else is important about Chile?
What?
I looked up what the technology ranking across all nations, where does Chile stand?
Probably dead last.
Lucky for them, they're not. But they're barely in the top 100.
Yeah. Like I said, dead last.
So basically a safe place to go and eject your stuff if you are not of this world but decide that you need to do something in broad daylight.
And nobody would know. If you want to come down and get a suntan, you know, I did some research too. You know what's the average temperature down in Chile around November?
What's that?
70 degrees. 70 degrees. You think I'd rather be down in Chile than in Alaska?
What's in Alaska?
I don't know, but most of the UFO sightings is always up north. That's why I never believed it. I would never hang out up north during the wintertime.
Well, there you go. Puerto Rican Panda.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's why you go down south to South America, get yourself a little tan, drop your juices all over the cloud, and take off.
You seen that, right? That's like, is that equivalent to peeing in the water? You understand what I'm saying?
Sadly,
it's the same thing.
It is possible that that was waste material.
It could have been.
So the story, again, is very similar to the Mark Emmons story because we have that trailing smoke, liquid, whatever it was, that actually disappears as soon as the craft disappears. And when you see an airplane leaving contrails behind, the contrails stick around for quite some time.
Yes, true. I think the best thing that made me laugh about the story was the general, his statement. His statement was, he don't know what it was. After 2 years of investigation, his answer was, I don't know what it was. I know one thing it wasn't. I could have came up with that in 30 seconds.
That's right. Just look at the video. You'll come up with your own, pretty much, impression of what's going on, and it's not anything that we're aware of. But one of the things that they've done, basically, is said, pretty much sent a message to the world that we have no clue what this is, but we know that one of you guys, US, the UK, one of you superpowers, has an idea of what this is, because there's no way you haven't come across this in the past.
You know what? We could always blame China. Ain't that what everybody else does?
That's right.
China,
that's what Trump said.
Yeah, exactly.
Blame China.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably Gamera.
Exactly.
So, Puerto Rican Panda, after watching that video, do you think there is a definite non-terrestrial object there? Not from Earth.
Oh, yeah. I believe it was not from Earth. Absolutely.
Well, there you go, folks. That story is one of those stories that we look at as being pivotal to proving that not all of the unidentified aerial phenomena or UFOs are hoaxes or fakes.
I mean, that was a UFO with an attitude.
That's right. He just pissed all over the place right in front of them.
Exactly. He must have walked straight out of Compton.
Marked his territory.
Yes, he did. Just like a dog. He's marking his territory, his area. Like, for no other aliens to come on over, this is his spot. Chile, he claimed it.
He claimed Chile.
She claimed it.
That's right.
Yep.
Or it claimed it.
Yes, it's claimed it. Yeah, absolutely. And any other UFOs come down, stay up north.
So, folks, that is the story from Chile, the story from Mark Emmons. Both really important stories. And there's a lot of other stories out there, especially a signal from a particular star system, a radio signal, which we will cover later on in the week, because It's not the wow signal. This is a repeat radio signal that looks like there might be some intelligent life behind it. But we will see. We'll talk about that later in the week.
I'm just shocked.
You were shocked?
I'm just shocked. Yes, I'm shocked how recent these events are happening. Because, me, I don't really thought of UFOs. I'm like, I've been skeptical. And always the only thing you hear of for 1940s, 1950s. No, these are happening like today.
That's right.
These are events that's currently happening.
And things like this happen 2-3 times a week, which are actually reported and caught by the major media. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, it just goes unreported. No one really knows about it. But there's quite a few out there. Maybe Puerto Rican Panda, you have to be more active in getting out there and getting some research done.
Look, I'm gonna go outside right now and stake my claim on this tree and let this UFO people know, hey, I claim this area down here in San Antonio. Okay?
Yeah, you better drink a lot of water
down here. Absolutely.
So, folks, thank you for listening today. Like I said, maybe next week we will hear from Big O. We'll move into episode 63 then. For episode 62, we've had a Puerto Rican Panda with us. Maybe he'll return again.
Maybe not.
Or maybe not. Don't forget, we have that great track from Mark Evans coming up at the end of the episode. So, from UFO Buster Radio, Big O, who's not here, Puerto Rican Panda, you want to say goodbye?
Yes, I want to thank y'all for listening. Also, I want to say get well, Big O. We miss you. Thank you for having me.
With that said, ciao.